taking a drive, and it takes 30 minutes. So what's the best way to do this? Take my friends on the drive with me, because I want to tell you a story about my dream I had last night. The dream was like 2 or 3 shows put in one dream. The dream was the longest dream I've ever had, and it had like repeat scenes, like on a TV show, you know, where they repeat scenes over and over again. But I want to warn you, the dream is very confusing and kind of dark. It involves children, a child, and if you have a child and you are sensitive about that, don't listen to this, okay? So just warning you ahead of time. Don't sue me for your traumatic experience or emotional damage because of my dream. So, and what's weird is that I don't usually dream. And if I do dream, I don't even remember it. And the fact that this dream is so long, maybe somebody can help me figure out this dream. So it starts off, well, time has passed, so I might have forgotten a lot of details. In any event, I was at the airport getting ready for my annual Labor Day trip with friends. And there was this woman. I'm not going to be politically correct, because you only want to be politically correct if you're trying to hide your racism. And I'm just going to say, you know, pointing out the color of a person's skin is not racism. Using the person's skin as, you know, to be biased or judgmental is, you know, then that's wrong, right? But anyway, the woman, I don't know her name, she's white, and her daughter is black. The daughter's name, I think, is a 4-letter Juno or something like that. I remember that at the end of the dream. So we'll just call her Juno. And Juno looks like she looks very healthy, very sweet, very, you just want to hug her because she's so super cute. She looks super healthy, very gentle. So I say about healthy 1-year-old. But the lady was not happy, and I don't know why the lady was not happy. And the lady, because it's my dream, I know what the lady is thinking, right? The lady wanted to get rid of the child. And at the airport, it's not Phoenix International Airport. This airport had a waterfall inside, like a mini Niagara Falls. And the airport advertises this waterfall. The advertisement, they show this video throughout the airport, and they don't say anything in the video. It's just kind of like music or something, and it just shows people jumping into the waterfall in a means of committing suicide. I told you this dream is so dark, right? And so they just show videos of people jumping into this waterfall. And the waterfall is kind of like in a stairwell. So you have to go into a stairwell, and there's a waterfall, and then you just jump over the railing. So the lady, you know, wanted to get rid of the child. And the lady was not happy, and I don't know why the lady was not happy. The daughter is black, and the lady is white. And the lady was not happy. 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 And the lady I guess she didn't want, for whatever reason, she didn't want this baby. And she decided she was going to get rid of this baby, and at the last second she jumped in. Well, we don't know. This is what we know later, is that she jumped into the fall with the baby. And because it's my dream, she didn't want to kill she didn't want to be alive after getting rid of her baby, because I mean, who can be alive after getting rid of their baby? So she decided that she will kill herself along with the baby, so they go together. Right? We could only suspect that they went together because it doesn't show that in my dream. However, the video that I was telling you about the airport, they showed the video of her jumping in. Well, of her body jumping in. You can't see her face and you can't see the child. But you see the clothes that she was wearing at the airport, so you pretty much conclude that that is her. Well, again, since was my dream, I'm guessing the child, she wanted to, I knew that she wanted to get rid of the child. So I go, and somehow the dream doesn't show me how I found the child, but somehow I found the child. And I took the child back with me. And I was going to find the lady's sister. I knew she had a sister, and we wanted to find out what happened, what the lady's situation was, why she committed suicide, why she wanted to get rid of the baby. But we couldn't. We went back to their house, or the lady's house, and we couldn't find any information or any leads. Somehow we ended up back at the airport. But anyway, it's back at the airport, back at the house. But we had several meetings with her family about what had happened, trying to find answers. Couldn't find answers. And finally, the youngest sister of the family decides to take care of Juno. Because I had decided if, no one wants to take care of Juno, I would raise Juno myself. Even though I don't know who, I didn't want kids, but, that was what I was going to do. I wanted to give Juno a good life. And in my dream, while we were going through, while we were trying to find answers, trying to heal and stuff like that, you can see Juno trying to find her attachment, right, with the people she's around, with me, with, the lady's family, blah, blah, blah. And it reminded me about, the things that I would listen to about mental health and personal growth and blah, blah, blah. And how they say that children learn attachment while they're inside the womb. And when they come out, depending on how you nurture or you treat, your kids while they're babies, they learn your attachment style, and they learn their attachment style, and they learn how to protect themselves while they're just babies and they don't know how to talk. So Juno is already learning this, right? And I don't know why, but I told you in the beginning, Juno was a healthy looking 1-year-old, or maybe a little bit older, but throughout the dream, she kept getting smaller. So she became a preemie. Then at one point, she was so small but so cute, and she would lay inside the palm of my hands. So I don't know the meaning of that either. And then, so finally, since we decided where she was going to be home, we go back, you know, the dream goes back to the airport, and now we're trying to get out of the airport. You can't get out of the airport by using the stairs, which I was using, right? Because I always use the stairs. Because there are two areas of the stairs had prisoners. I guess they were escaped prisoners, but I don't know why they were there. But they took over two levels of the stairs. One level of the stairs, the prisoners were blue jumpsuits. The higher level, the prisoners were orange. I don't know the meaning of that either. So we were running up and down the stairs, trying to figure out what is going on. And inside the airport, they would have these booths or, you know, vendors or those, like those people that would watch what is going on. Like the people from the Hunger Games, you know, sitting at the table watching the airport, seeing what was going on, and watching us running back and forth. And we couldn't get out of the airport, and I couldn't find the elevator. The only way out of the airport is to get into the elevator because the prisoners were not there. But I couldn't find the elevator. And the police officers were disguised in TSA clothing or, you know, airport staff clothing. They were not wearing police uniforms because if, you know, prisoners knew who the police were, they would do something to the police officers. So the police officers were wearing airport staff clothing, uniforms. And then the dream pans out to my reunion with my friends, and we're, you know, I guess somehow we were celebrating with Juno's family, her new family. And then we were giving gifts, and there was something about the two gifts that were given. There were only two gifts that were given. But I don't remember what the gifts were because, you know, but I remember at that time opening it, and then there was some type of, you know, hidden meaning. But anyway, and then we pan back into the airport, and we are saying bye to our friends. Again, can't get out of the airport, keep running into people, and keep getting lost around the airport. And I'm telling you, this is a long dream. We met strange people, you know, who were trying to get out of the airport. We were walking around through the airport. My friends didn't know what was going on, you know, because they're in their own little world. So it's probably just my experience in this dream. It was very hard to explain. Like, they didn't experience what I was experiencing. And then finally I realized, and then we were outside, and I realized how we got outside was one of our friends was wearing the TSA uniform, and she helped us get out of the airport. And then you can see these military vehicles, tanks, and the big trucks that carry officers, the military officers, you know. And I don't know if that had to do with the No King sorry, driving, losing focus here with the stuff that was going on, you know, the No King movement and protests. I don't know if that had to do with the military people in the dream, and the cars and the trucks in my dream. And then I don't know what else, I can't remember what else happened. but the dream was over finally, because like I said, the dream kept repeating itself, especially the time where the lady jumped into the waterfall and committed suicide. It was just the video just kept playing over and over and over again. But you know, they say sleep is important to you, and you're supposed to get in. You need to fall into a deep sleep, you know, into an REM stage, which makes no sense if you have dreams that are so stressful, because sleep is supposed to heal us mentally, physically, you know, internally. But if you have dreams that are so stressful like this, how are you going to heal? Which reminds me of the dream I had last week where this guy that looks like Jeffrey Dahmer, he's not Jeffrey Dahmer, but he's a copycat because he looks like Jeffrey Dahmer, and he was trying to chase me around and trying to kill me. Like, what the hell? Anyway, if you know what these dreams are about, you know, maybe you can help analyze it. Let me know in the comments below. Let me know what you think about my dreams, and share some of your crazy dreams for me so I don't feel like I'm weird or something. And you know, I'm sorry for my lips. I hiked in Flagstaff for 4.5 hours, and I usually take long hikes, but for whatever reason, when I'm in Flagstaff, my lips get super dry and burnt. And then I keep trying to apply, you know, chapstick and stuff like that. And then it was so swollen the day after the hike when I got home, and it was super red. So, you know, I was trying to just treat it, and then the following week, a few days later, it starts peeling off, you know. So now it's going through the process, but it's very annoying. But it's definitely from the sunburn, the sun in Flagstaff. And maybe one of my friends said maybe it's the elevation. I wasn't, you know, because this is the second time I've hiked in Flagstaff and my lips were burnt, you know. And I usually I will hike in Phoenix for 10 miles, 20 miles, 8 hours, no lip burnt, right? No lip issues. But in Flagstaff, I always come back with issues, and maybe it's the elevation, because I don't think it's the amount of time in the sun, since I hike long hours in Phoenix. You know, maybe you could help me with that too. I need a lot of help, you guys. A lot of help. Well, enjoy the rest of your Sunday. Peace and love.